gentlemen, welcome to another episode of GMS Walk and Talk. Pay the feet, the elect, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Today I want to say a few words to you brothers. I want to talk to you about being demonized. Now, when you look up the word demonized, it means to be made to look like a demon. Now, you got these certain stories that are out there circulating, you know, in the press, like the case of this guy Peter Lucas Moses, and supposedly he was a Hebrew Israelite, and basically he killed his 4-year-old boy because he believed that the 4-year-old boy was a homosexual. All right, so what I want to say to you brothers is that you're going to have stories like that, and those acts, they're going to try to associate them with us. It's already being said that you got scoffers that come on our channel and they say that, yeah, this guy Peter Lucas Moses was part of GMS, which is a damn lie. Right. He was never part of GMS. As a matter of fact, he believed in multiplying wives. He believed in having multiple wives. We don't teach that here at GMS, even though you can have many wives, but we're not in the time, what we always tell you, we're not in the time of you going out there and getting many wives. You know, Paul said it best. He said the time is short. They that have wives be as though they have none. Yep. All right, so that's one aspect that shows this guy wasn't down with us, GMS in particular. So what I'm trying to show you brothers is you're going to have stories like that to try to demonize you, and it's all relative to the scriptures. As a matter of fact, let's see what the Lord said, or what the Lord said through Paul, the Apostle Paul. Let's see what he said concerning tribulation. Yeah, because part of being demonized is part of our tribulation. And that's why, you know, when all hell break loose, that's one of the ways we're going to be tested. Because you're going to have the government, Esau's government, doing acts and blaming it on the Israelites. All right? Like so-called terrorist attacks, and blaming it on who? The Israelites. Yep. Saying that, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just like in Rome.
Yeah, just like, yeah, I was just thinking about that. You're talking about Nero Caesar, right? Yep. Yeah, you go ahead, man.
Yeah, Nero Caesar burnt down Rome and he blamed it on the Christians.
Right. So it's nothing new now. As a matter of fact, let's see what Paul said about tribulation. This is Acts 14 and 22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, which is exactly what we're doing. Brothers, continue in the faith, even in the face of that, you know, like I said, like Peter Lucas Moses, guys like that, and so-called terrorist attacks that they might try to blame on us, you to still continue in the faith. As a matter of fact, when 9/11 happened, they tried to blame us, you know, with having a part in 9/11. Yep. You know, 8 of us got arrested, and they had a $100,000 bond.
Each.
Yeah, but each. But guess what? The Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, he delivered us from that. All right, he put the spirit on this so-called Jew bitch in the courtroom. Out of nowhere, this bitch came out of nowhere and started defending us. Yep. These men have a right to say what they say and blah, 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 blah. And she was a so-called Jew. All right?
She knew about us.
And she knew about us. But yet the Lord put the spirit on her to come to our aid, so to speak. And then, I think you was telling me that later...
Very next time we saw her.
Yeah, you tried to speak to her and she wouldn't even speak to you.
She wouldn't even, she basically just shrugged it, like, get out of my face, you know?
Yeah, yeah, see?
So I'm sure she went back home and wondered, why the hell did I speak up for them guys?
But it was the spirit of the Lord.
That's right.
That jumped on her to defend us. So even when you have these stories, like I say, you have these scoffers. Even now, they're saying, hey, this guy Peter Lucas Moses was part of GMS. You know, that's their deal. You know, a lot of these guys, they work for these different government agencies, and they're trying to tie us into something that will implicate us, where the government can come in and try to grab us,
Right.
which they're going to try to do anyway, you know. And I want to show you that in relation to the scriptures. So going back to what Paul said now, Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So that's part of our tribulation, to be demonized by the so-called media, to be called terrorists.
Yep.
So what I'm trying to share with you brothers is, don't get weak when, you know, your so-called friends or
Family members.
your so-called family members associate you with being a terrorist, or being what do you call it? What's another, a madman, or
Part of a cult.
you're part of a cult and all of that. That's all part of that tribulation. All right? And the biggest terrorist of all is the Most High. It is written of the Most High, Psalms 47 and 2. He is the king of terrorists. So who's the biggest terrorist? The Most High himself, Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. What is the Lord coming back to bring? He's coming back to bring terror to the
Right.
so-called government.
Been a real terror. That's why he said
Yeah.
it should be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Weeping at, what is that? Terror.
Terror.
So,
Terror.
Exactly. So when these people call you terrorists, you say, yeah, I'm a terrorist, but a righteous terrorist. I'm a terrorist in righteousness. I'm a terrorist for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Most High.
Yep.
You know, the scriptures alone brings terror. All right. So let's take a look at a warning that we got from the Lord Yahweh Shai. We just talking, you know, like these so-called government agents that come on our sites and talk shit, these scoffers. Some of them are paid, some of them are not, some of them are just bugged out in the head, you know, but some of them do work for the government. You know, they'll take little excerpts or little clips of what we say and try to demonize us. That's all part of being in this truth. That's the main gist of this lesson that I'm bringing out here. So now I want to show you what the Lord said concerning that. As a matter of fact, we were talking about your parents. You know, some of you brothers out there, your parents look at you and call you a terrorist and all of that. This is the book of Psalms 27, 10 and 11. It says, when my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. See? Remember, the Lord said that our own enemies shall be there of your own household. Your own enemies for this truth, right? Then the 11th verse says, teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. Now, I'm going to read what the Lord said concerning that, because that links right up. This is the book of Matthew 10, 16 to 22, which says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened with us. You know, and in the case of 9/11, we were delivered up to their wicked council. They had chains on our hands and our feet. We were treated like we were murderers, man.
Worse than Charles Manson.
Yeah, worse than Charles Manson. This is we couldn't make this stuff up. This actually happened, but the Lord delivered us out of that. You know, that's the point I'm trying to convey to you brothers.
Yeah, and that was done too as examples, you know, so that we have examples to give you today. Just like when Paul, you know, Paul would speak of certain tribulations that he faced in certain places and imprisonments and things for the furtherance of the brother's faith, you know, so that when it happens to them, they don't get weak.
Yeah. You know, that's why I'm doing this lesson here. To show you brothers what you're going to face being in this truth. All right? Also to show you the scriptures, what the scriptures have said concerning that. This is Matthew 10, 16 Now I'm in 17th verse. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake. So as things escalate more and more, you know, more terrorist attacks, more, which the Lord himself, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is bringing it using the left-hand side, which is the so-called white man. But as these happen more and more, we are going to be grabbed up and being brought before their government officials. Just like it says here, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings. What's the name? Put a name on that today. The Illuminati, the secret societies, you know, these so-called senators, these so-called congressmen.
Yep.
You know, that's your governors and kings. For my sake, for the Lord's sake, because remember, we're the vessels of the Lord's word. We're the ones the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua have chosen to bring forth his word, to bring forth the real truth. That's us. For my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So when that time comes, that'll be our opportunity to curse these devils out, to tell them what the Lord have said about them, to tell them they're going into slavery, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, that's going to be the opportunity. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how and what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. And what are you going to speak? You're going to speak what the Lord have said about them, how the Lord have condemned them.
Yep.
These elites, these banking families. Like, let's say we're brought before, case in point, let's say we're brought before the Rothschilds. What are you going to say to the Rothschilds? You're going to say they're going to go into slavery. That's what you're going to say. What are you going to say before these rich banking families? You're going to show them in the scriptures that they're going into slavery. Right. You're going to tell them that they're Esau, that they're not the real Jews, because a lot of them, they believe they're the real Jews, you know?
That's right.
You're going to tell them they're not the real Jews. That's what it's saying here. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how and what you shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. For it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Now what's the Spirit of our Father? These words in the scriptures. John 6 and 63. The Spirit that quickeneth, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Alright?
Yep.
I'm going to read to...
That's what you're going to speak, the truth, the scriptures. You know, you're not going to speak about, you know, current events of you know, basketball, or, you know.
Exactly.
That bullshit. You're going to bring out the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is the spirit of prophecy.
Yeah, all what you've been learning, beginning with from Elder Tahal on down, from GMS, all what you've been learning about the Illuminati and tying it in with the scriptures, that's what you're going to speak. And you're going to condemn them. All right? So you remember that, brothers. The 21st verse, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child. And the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And that's really going to come into fruition when this terrorist thing goes back and forth. You're going to even have certain members of the family rising up against other members of the family saying that they're terrorists. All right? Like it says, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death and the father the child. Especially if you're part of a family that knows that you're an Israelite, they're actually going to believe that if a terrorist attack happens, that you had part in it. You know?
Yeah, they show you that. Them guys at 7 down in Florida.
The Miami 7.
The Miami 7. You know, they were all jakes. You know, and they deemed them as having a plot against blowing up some building. I think it was the world. Was it the Sears Tower or some shit?
Yeah, the Sears Tower.
You know.
Yep, that's a good example. So there it is, man. So that shows you how crucial this truth is. And that really shows you, brothers, that you're really alone in this thing. You know, don't look to bring in your mother, bring in the whole family. It's not a family affair over here.
Right.
The Lord have chosen you to bear his word, not your whole family.